right now and getting some picture of his I don't know if he would, but I feel like
I'd like to call to order the June 7th, 2022 meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, a roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.,
Present.
Alderman Heidi Wilson, Carolyn Wands,
Present.
James Bouchard,
Present.
Bob Iverson,
Present.
Brenda Brown,
Present.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Mike Poor,
Present.
Rick Strebe,
Here.
Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Ethan Burt,
Present.
Eve Ludwig,
Present.
Tricia T,
Present.
Robert Williams,
Present.
Darren York,
Present.
13 present.
13 present. We do have a quorum. Please let the agenda reflect, the minutes reflect that Alderman Wilson has been exposed to COVID, and so that's why she's not with us this evening. So let's pray that she does not have it and pray for her grandfather, who unfortunately does. At this time, I would like to invite forward Pastor Ken McCrae from High Dimension Faith Center for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Chairman Pickering. Please rise.
As we bow our heads, eternal God and Father, we thank you. As we come before your presence, we acknowledge our dependency upon you. We call upon you for being our strength, our wisdom, and our guidance. I pray, God, that you continue to bless this fine city of Danville, its citizens, continue to keep, guard, and preserve. Thank you for each one of the first responders. Continue to cover them and keep them. We pray, God, for the citizens and our ability to be able to see the wisdom and the direction of this council. As we are sometimes short-sighted, we ask that you would give us the insight to be able to catch up with the direction and the long sight of this city council. We pray, God, your grace and your favor continually upon this council and this city. Continue to bestow wisdom and grace upon them as they embark upon the decisions that impact the lives of each one of our citizens. This we ask in the mighty and strong name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Before you go away, is there anything you would like to share with us about what's happening at the church? Or
We're excited about eating, so we do a lot of that.
okay, a lot of fellowship together, huh?
Yeah. But we have just initiated a Adopt a Yard project.
Okay.
We have young people and some adults that have come together, and we're just traversing through the city, identifying yards that have been unattended, and we're voluntarily cutting those yards.
Thank you. We appreciate that. As everyone knows, we have a huge problem with, abandoned lots. And what I want to say to the public is the city does the best that we can with our resources, but they are not our property. We are essentially taking care of someone else's property to help you have a better life wherever you live. So we get to those about once a month. Unfortunately, we had some mower breakdowns, so we're a little bit behind, but I want to let you know that our fine men and women in public works are on it, and we've rented a couple of mowers in the interim until ours can be fixed, and they're playing catch up as we speak. So thank you for your help in that, Pastor. We appreciate you. Have a great evening. At this time, you have before you the minutes of the May 3rd, 2022 meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
It's been moved by Alderman Ludwig. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Bouchard. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. All right, at this time, you have before you the agenda for this evening. However, we do want to make one change. Item 12F will become the new item 15, moving the remainder of the items down one. So then ordinance declaring the officer of Treasurer vacant will become number 16, and adjournment will be item number 17. Having amended the agenda, is there a motion to approve it as amended?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Thank you. The motion carries. I do not have any proclamations for you this evening or any board, committee, or personnel appointments, although hopefully we'll have several next time. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? All right. Administrator French, do you want to just for the good of the cause and for a refresher, remind everyone about Community Day?
Of course, Mayor. Community Day will be held on July 10th out at Lincoln Park from 2:30 to 4:30. We have a real nice lineup. We're going to have North Street Soul is our feature group. And then we're going to also have a performance by Noah Brown and Company. And we're also going to have some good food out there. So please join us on July 10th from 2:30 to 4:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator Finch. Are there any other reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Seeing none, in terms of items of information, I just want to thank everyone, all of our sponsors who made our last First Friday possible. We had a great crowd. I was proud that we had over 1,000 people, despite the fact that we were competing against the second Danville Dan's game of the season, as well as Ambucks kicking off their music season. So we had a lot going on for Danville for one night. So I just want to thank everyone who made it possible and everyone who participated. Ashton, we appreciate you, and Bailey and your team. At this time, Madam Clerk, are there any petitions, communications, or audience comments?
Yes, Mayor. Has everyone had a chance to complete a yellow card who wishes to speak this evening? Please bring it to my desk when you can. First, I have Jerry Hawker, 207 Payne, regarding police.
And just as a reminder, everyone is limited to 3 minutes, so please keep it to 3 minutes.
Good evening. I would like to thank the mayor for his leadership over the last several years pertaining to the Breezy Tower. I believe most of the community would love to have kept the tower. However, I believe that time has passed. I know it's been a hard road for the mayor, but I would like to thank him and his administration. Now for less pleasant comments. See something, say something did not work. Most of you know I bleed blue. I support police officers 100%. However, we have had a problem on Harmon Street for the last 2 years. I own 321, and a man, Mr. Lindquist, who has worked for me for 18 years, has lived there at 321 for 16 years, has had his life totally destroyed. He's had to move by a bunch of hoodlums. They have been literally camping outside an abandoned house next to my property for 2 years. He has called 911 numerous times, and the fire department has had to respond to put out fires. They have tore down my privacy fence and used for firewood. They have broken into Mr. Lindquist's house while he was working numerous times, have broken out his windows, and has stolen copper out of the house. They have taken everything of value that this man has ever had. Mr. Lindquist is totally beside himself. I have worked with everyone from the chief down, and all we ever get are telling them to move on. 3 weeks ago, a 911 call was made about these individuals that were caught in possession of stolen property from Mr. Lindquist's house. Was an arrest made? No. They gave Mr. Lindquist his property back and told the hoodlums to move on. This weekend, police department was there 3 times. The fire department to put out fire, no police action taken. Finally, last night, on orders of the chief, 1 person was arrested. These individuals have been cooking meth and God knows what. Over on Robinson Street, I had to move. I had to move out. Within 2 weeks, it had been broken into. Mr. Lindquist was mowing the grass and seeing somebody inside, called 911. They were gone before the police got there. I totally understand that. Going into the house, we found, again, items belonging to Mr. Lindquist that were being housed in that property. Ladies and gentlemen, the problem is solved. After 2 years of no action by the city, I have taken my Bobcat to the property. I have totally destroyed their camp. I have taken the fence down around it. There is no camp anymore. If I need arrested for entering private property, I guess that's what will have to happen. Alderman Wands viewed the property today and can attest to Mr. Lindquist being a lawful, hardworking citizen. We need to be more concerned about
Mr. Hawker,
destroying
your
abandoned
time
property
is finished.
where rats like these individuals hide from our
Mr. Hawker,
police
your time is
and
finished, sir.
continue crime. Rather than
Mr.
spending
Hawker, your
$13
time is
million
finished, sir.
on the park that I believe no one will.
Sir,
come.
your time is finished. Please have a seat. Thank you.
Oh, I'm not a hoodlum. Sorry, I have to abide the law.
All I can say is that I find it very interesting that this has been going on for 2 years, and you and I talk fairly frequently, and I've never heard the first thing about it. I also live catty corner from this property, and I've not seen this activity going on, but I would think you always come to me with problems, so it's interesting that you haven't, and yet you would reveal it publicly here today. I will allow the chief to speak to that, but sir, if you have an issue, you know where I'm at, and you have my cell phone number, so it's ridiculous that you haven't called.
I left a message for you.
Well, I think it's true that at times that there's different people at different locations that are vacant, and that's one of the problems that we're dealing with in trying to address each one of these problems. Last night, a lot of the times that you send me texts, it's either on a, when I'm off, and I explain to you that it's very difficult to understand what you're wanting and exactly what the situation is through text or even telephone calls, and to make sure, call 911, excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, and call 911. This isn't something that, I talked to a couple of guys on the pop unit, and I asked, and they said, yeah, we were out there, and there are people that frequent there, but they're not always the same people. There'll be different people that come through, and I can't attest, or I'd be speculating to see what the response was. These are things that I'm going to have to check on because I need specific dates. I need times when they're called. I sent you down to the deputy chief. I'll talk with him again and see what was done and where we, how we can follow up on that. I don't know what I swallowed wrong, but anyway, I'm not going to speculate to a response. To say that we do nothing in regards to that, I would say that's probably not completely accurate. But I'm not going to argue with you here. We can have a conversation later, or you can call me and discuss it.
Madam Clerk, do we have any other comments?
Brock Atwood of Danville regarding the mountain bike trail.
Hello, Mayor and Council. First off, I'm not a public speaker, so I'm just going to kind of wing this. But really, I have some questions and concerns about the mountain bike trail. It's been very little information, honestly. I found out about it a week ago. So I'm not really, I just really have some questions. First question we have is that the proposal for the trails are butting up. They completely come up to private property. One of my questions is, do they really need to come up to the private property? Second off, who is going to be policing this? It's city property, but where we live is in the county. So is it city police or is it the sheriff's? We have to deal with trespassing all the time. They park at Harrison Park Golf Course. They come down, they litter, trash, stuff like that. Not the mountain bikes, but we're allowing, I imagine they're probably going to have, I'm sure we'll hear it here in a little bit, 100, 200 bikes a weekend. These people, the mountain bikes are going to create more chances for trespassing, trash, stuff like that. The other question is, are they going to shut down during hunting season? Are they going to be open they're going to be next to the river? Is there going to be fishing allowed? Is it hiking? Is it strictly mountain biking? What is the city getting out of this? Are they paying a lease? If there's an accident, who's responsible for that? Is it the city's insurance? Are they going to provide insurance? Just a lot of questions. Like I said, I figured, they may come to the private landowners that border this and maybe give us a heads up or talk to us about it. And like I said, this is the first I've ever heard of it, and all the other neighbors too. So I guess I'll just wait for the presentation that they're going to give, and hopefully they can answer some of the questions and concerns that I have. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atwood.
Mayor,
Madam- Yes.
just for clarification from my notes, where's the trail that he's concerned about as far as jurisdictional issues?
It will be in the trail itself will be in the city of Danville. That's not to say that people can't, wander onto private property as they often do. Wherever the call is made, that's who would be observing it or be responding. If it's on your property and you live outside of Danville, then the sheriff's department would be responding. If it's on our property, then our police would respond. Madam Clerk, if you could, before I go, because I wonder if other people who are here don't have these same questions. A couple of things. We just answered the policing or the trespassing. Hiking and mountain biking, I'm sure that it will actually be available year round. Again, this is city property, not private property. So we expect that we'll be able to use the property how we need to. Accidents insurance, they're required to have a $2 million minimum insurance, and their insurance would be the one that covers any accidents primarily. They also have listed the city as a secondary insured. That way, in case anyone should come after us. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome. Lester R. Potts Jr., who is the local 429 Vice President, would like to speak regarding fire department overtime and staffing.
Hello, everyone. As she said, my name is Lester Potts. I'm Vice President of Danville Fire, Local 429, and I'm here to speak about the fire department, overtime, and staffing. For the month of May, Danville had roughly $60,000 in overtime expenses, $20,000 which could have been relieved simply by granting the request that we submitted to the mayor over a month ago through our chief, and 2 weeks ago, May 24th to be precise, in writing. We finally received a response yesterday denying the request. Our request was simply to move 2 probationary firefighters from working a 40-hour week to working on shift, filling a gap and cutting down on the amount of overtime needed and saving roughly $20,000 a month. This move would have required an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, and would be no different than the Memorandum of Understanding that we just finished operating under for the last 3 years under the SAFER grant. Danville Fire is supposed to have a staffing of 44 personnel on shift. We currently have 35. Adding those 2 would have allowed our numbers to be 37. We have had 3 retire in the month of May, and although I'm proud that we made promotions this evening to fill in those holes, I would have loved to see the mayor allow us to hire tonight as well to bring our numbers further into what they should be. If he had done that, we could have been closer to getting our numbers to full staffing and getting those guys counted towards manning sooner rather than later, with each one saving roughly $1,000 per overtime shift. Please don't take what I'm saying as an attempt to mess with manning or manning numbers. I'm speaking strictly on staffing and how being properly and sufficiently staffed helps with the overtime issue better than anything else. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes,
ma'am.
Can you repeat the numbers again? What we currently have on staff and what would be the full number?
full staffing is 44. Currently, we have 35, and it's 35 because we have 3 that are injured. We have 2 at the academy, and we have 2 back from the academy, which aren't on shift. So when you start to add all the numbers in, we're short 1 personnel. However, when you count the bodies who aren't counting towards manning, who aren't able to assist in those numbers, that's why you have so much overtime. However, if you move those 2 personnel to shift, then that covers roughly $1,000 per day of overtime.
And so it would have been a $20,000 saving, you said?
Roughly,
Okay.
yes. Yes, that number varies slightly in who is actually working the overtime, because some it may be at a rate of $800 and some it may be at a rate of $1,200. So I just threw out $1,000 to make the numbers work simply. And the actual overtime numbers are, I believe I was told, closer to 35,000 per pay cycle. So the number is higher, but I just gave you rough estimates to make the number simple.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Firefighter Potts, I guess, okay. You said there were some that retired in May,
We had 3 retire. in
3
May.
retired in May.
So a lot of the overtime that we might have had could be due to having folks retire, one of which was unexpectedly.
We had 56 24-hour overtime shifts. Out of that 56, there was 31 that happened after those personnel retired. So that still left 25 from before they retired. And we knew that some of these people were going to retire. Had we moved those 2 bodies, then we could have foreseen that. And if we hired earlier, we could have gotten our staffing numbers closer to being what they need to be.
Okay, were they ranked officers?
One was a captain and the other 2 were firefighters. Tonight, what took place was the promotion for that captain, a lieutenant to a captain, and a firefighter to a lieutenant.
Okay.
So that left that other personnel, that left the opening. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. What I would submit to you is that, as you all know, we are in litigation over this very issue of minimum manning, which causes the need for unnecessary overtime all of the time. And so what I would submit to you is if the firefighters were so interested in eliminating overtime and not having their guys work so much, they could certainly adjust that. What I would also submit to you is that you all know this. We hire as many people as we can. We have hired up to this point as many people as we can all the time. So, Mr. Potts, I'm sorry, but your time is done.
The timer didn't go off, and
She turned it off.
Questions and-
She turned it off after you
24
finished
seconds, so-
speaking.
I had 24 seconds.
Well, that was when the.
Okay, well, I can
Question.
respond quickly in 24 seconds. That's why the mayor pointed out manning. Notice that what I said was referring to staffing, not manning. We are in litigation over manning, not over staffing. If we're properly staffed, then those manning numbers don't matter.
We've hired as many people.
That's what that means. Because if you only have a budget of $1,000 and all you make is $1,000, then you will never get ahead. If you're staffed at the exact number you need, then anyone taking off requires overtime. However, if you staff above that number, then someone taking off gives you the wiggle room to move ahead. It's like having $1,500 in your account rather than that $1,000 that you're budgeted for. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Potts. We've hired up until this point, we've hired as many as we can. The problem is we can only get people in training in certain times of the year. So we get as many folks as we can in training as soon as possible. But again, the bottom line is, yes, he's talking about personnel. We've hired as many personnel as we can up until this point. We're down 1 person at this time. But the bottom line is our overtime, we would not need as much overtime if we didn't have to have unnecessary overtime. And that's something that we've been battling over for some time, to the tune of $500,000 every year. The taxpayers spend $500,000 in overtime just to call back to meet a certain minimum manning for people to sit around 80% of the time.
Mayor,
Yes,
so are we staffing 44,
we're staffing 43 currently.
43? So will we be placing that 44?
I don't intend to replace that person until this arbitration matter is over.
Which will cause more overtime. Okay, thank you.
And it's cheaper to pay overtime than it is to hire more people. A new person costs $120,000 a year if they have family insurance, whereas overtime only costs you $67,000. So,
And if somebody's overworked to the point that they're so tired that somebody gets hurt, well, that's going to be a drop in the bucket.
that's the
Or
choice.
we don't have the staff to fight the fires.
That's the choice of the firefighters.
That's
Alderman.
your choice too.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Alderman
Is
Brown.
this standard that we not replace? I've been here a little while and I'm not
familiar that the standard that we don't replace.
Yes, actually, the previous administration didn't replace both police and fire quite often, to the point that we were down much greater than we are in both statuses now.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other audience comments?
Yes, sir. Nate Byram of
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oakwood.
I'm sorry. If you, Alderman Pashard.
Is there some kind of a state law that requires so many on police and fire both be staffed all the time?
No, what requires us to have a certain minimum manning is our contract with the firefighters. Sorry, Mr. Byram. Yes, sir.
I wasn't sure what you wanted to speak about.
Oh, about the Vermillion County Trail Alliance.
thank
Yeah, so mountain biking, I certainly understand someone who's had a house and they have land and, you know, the concern about what's going to change. But let me tell you what some of the other mountain biking destinations across the Midwest have found. Bentonville, Arkansas is a good example. They put in through a grant from the Walmart heirs over 100 miles of mountain biking trails. I think with Kickapoo and then with our, you know, this potential that you guys are going to be discussing tonight, it would bring us up to maybe 40. So it's not all that different. It's a good start on something like they have down in Bentonville. And what they found in Bentonville is that the trails actually run all the way through town and they run into these wooded areas, ravines, and they actually run right behind people's houses. And they found that it improves quality of life. People can go right out their back door, jump on the trail, they can mountain bike, they can walk their dogs, they can run, whatever sort of activity that they want. Another thing that I think this would be a little bit different than Kickapoo would be that Kickapoo right now does not allow any pedal assist bikes. And those are great for people with disabilities who maybe can't pedal up the hills. Now, those are not dirt bikes now with a motor that, you know, spray dirt everywhere, but they just help somebody who's got a disability actually ride up the hills, help somebody that's older be able to manage those. And so I certainly understand just hearing about it, somebody might react negatively, but what we've seen all across the Midwest is that mountain bikes in communities increase property values, they increase the quality of life, they increase the amount of activity physically people do. Instead of just sitting on the couch watching TV, they can get out, be active. And it really kind of, I think, goes along with a lot of what the city of Danville's doing with the new bike trail over the Denmark Road. That's a great connector to possibly this trail system in the future. And so I just encourage you all to think about all the benefits that this sort of a project would bring to our city. Also, you know, we've got a great group of volunteers and we don't need millions from the Walmart heirs because we have people willing to give their time to do this for free. And that's, they're very experienced. I'm not a member of the Trail Alliance. I'm just friends with them, but they're very active with the Kickapoo Mountain Bike Club. And they've got a lot of experience in building trails and things like this. And I've always known them to be very responsible in everything that they do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byram.
That's all I have.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? All right, seeing none, we have for you, we do not have any zoning petitions for you this evening. However, we do have the payrolls. You have before you the payrolls of May 20th and 27th, as well as June 3rd of 2022. Is there a motion to approve those?
So
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Bird,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague. Yes. 13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. We also have before you this evening the vouchers payable for May 24th, June 2nd, and June 7th of 2022, as well as a special run for May 31st of 2022. Is there a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
I have a question.
Yes, Alderman Teague.
On the payables for May 24th, on the first page, there are two different payments to two different law firms. I'm assuming one of these might have been, I'm assuming I know what the cases might be that these were for, but I'd like confirmation on what they were. So one is to Evans, Froelich, Bethan, it's cut off. And then the second one is to Jerry Davis Law.
The first one is for Brzee Tower, the suit against Brzee Tower. The second one, I believe, is for one of our yes, sir.
The second one is for handling challenges to property owners, large property owners who seek to lower their property taxes.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Teague, did you have any other questions?
No, that was it.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. This time we will receive our Public Works Committee report. Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. We will meet in these chambers next Tuesday, 6 p.m. There are a couple items that'll be under public services that would have traditionally went to Public Works, but I authorized them to, they were time sensitive, so went to Public Services so we could vote on them tonight. With that, Mayor, concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairman. This time we'll receive our Public Services Committee report. Chairman Strebe.
Oh, it puts us to 12A. We have an ordinance enacting and adopting the supplement S58 to the Code and Ordinances. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Anybody have any questions on 12A ordinance? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. Puts us to 12B, a resolution authorizing an agreement with the City of Danville and Managed Care Advisor Group, LLC, MCAG, for assistance with submissions of claims under class action suits. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 12B on this resolution? Not, roll call, please.
So what is this about? What class action suits? I missed last week's meeting.
Oh, this is just allow us, if there are any class action suits that the city of Danville should be a part of, that they will basically notify us and make sure that we're part of them. And for that service, and they'll receive a fee if they win us any money.
But there's nothing right now on the books.
There's one or two that we may qualify for.
Okay.
Pending cases.
Pending cases. And when will we be notified about this, what the cases are and stuff? Are they?
I can bring that back.
Are they individuals that are having problems with their insurance or?
Well, no,
past
they're
insurance?
class action lawsuits. So that means they're against, in this case, Blue Cross Blue Shield did something that enough people were impacted by that a class action was taken against them. And so we as a city or a provider servicer may qualify.
Okay.
Any other questions? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, 13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. Puts us to 12C, a resolution amending the Information Technology Division, line item 020 in the budget. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Do you have any questions on 12C? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Streaming,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. Puts us to 12D. Have a resolution authorizing an agreement with Vermillion County Trail Alliance. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Is there any questions on 12D?
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Is there someone that could answer the question the gentleman had about the private property?
So if a member of the Alliance would like to come forward and discuss that, answer that question.
Sure, I will answer any and all questions. Absolutely. What is the specific question?
Well, I guess policing yourself. Are you guys going to police yourselves too? Like we have tons and tons of trail cameras throughout that property, the whole property.
We are aware.
Yeah, probably because you're trespassing on the get caught by the camera.
No trespassing.
How do you know there's cameras in?
There's on city property.
No, not city property. I'm
Okay.
talking on private property.
Okay, on city property, there's also trail cameras.
Okay, well, I
So
don't
they
know.
may
I don't
not
know.
be
I don't know
yours.
on
Yeah,
city.
right.
What I'm asking is if members of your trail alliance come onto private property
Mhm.
and we catch them, are they banned from your, are you in charge or is the city in charge of the property once this is approved?
Okay, so as part of the agreement, there will be a survey of the property and there will be survey signs that we will at some point be liable to place. So there will be no trail on private property and really no opportunity to go onto private property. Certainly if someone is on your private property, yes, they would be trespassing. We are not policing that. I don't believe the city would be policing that either. I believe you would have to make a call, a 911 call or something like that.
Your trails that you have on the north and the south, there's several trails that butt up right up to private property. So how are they unable to, there's no fence, so how are they unable to not go from, I mean, I know a lot of mountain bikers. You guys have fun on your trails, and then once you get bored with them, then you start trekking on to other pieces. I'm not necessarily saying you, but I know people that have in Kickapoo. You're saying there's no chance for them to trespass, but the trails butt up to two people's property, well, actually three people's property that are sitting right next to me. How are they unable to keep going further? Because there's no fence. So you're saying they're unable to trespass, and that's not true.
That's correct. I mean, the trails are clearly defined. And first of all, it's not just mountain biking. Okay. So it's multi-use. This is public property specifically for public recreation. So I recognize the concerns of private landowners adjacent to public land, but the trails are very clearly defined. There will be trespassing signs. I'm not familiar with many people taking off trail because honestly, it's sort of difficult to do that unless they were to go hunting or something like that. If someone were to be on your land unauthorized, then that would be absolutely within your right. And we would actually recommend that you call someone to take care of that situation because we don't want that. We want to make an agreement with public landholders and private landholders and create a situation where everybody benefits by opening access to some of our public resources. So we don't want to create a situation where you're uncomfortable because you have public access trails next to your land and folks are trespassing onto it. We want to absolutely prevent that situation.
What's about the number of bikes? Like if you get the trails like you guys want them, what's the number of bikes that you guys would expect?
Mr. Atwood, could you please come and sit at the table so we can hear you in the microphone? Thank you.
This one right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Atwood, you may have to turn it on.
Is green light good?
Green light's good, I think.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how many bikes would you expect once you get your trail system up? How many bikes would you expect a weekend, let's say?
It is very difficult to project that at this point
Okay,
because
let's see. I drive through Kickapoo a lot. So how many do you guys say that go to Kickapoo on a nice weekend?
On a nice weekend,
hundreds, 500. Okay,
yeah, on a nice weekend.
Woodbury Hill. I don't know if you all know where Woodbury Hill is. It's controlled by three different entities: the Danville Township, the City of Danville, and Blunt Township. So those are the three entities that take care of that particular road. What they have proposed is from the Camp Trefoil, which is south, all the way up to north, where what's that place called? Where you guys got the land from, right? Wherever that is. So they travel that road on Woodbury Hill.
That is Harrison Park also, just for everyone's.
Yes, yes, this is all city property. Well, the property in between is not. And that's where I reside. I reside in between both of the trails, and I've resided there for 34 years of my life, as 50 plus years to that back there too. So we are used to the country life. That's why we live out there. We love it. You know, when the bridge was closed down for their maintenance, we had a uptick of traffic, which included trash everywhere, people speeding down our neighborhoods. We have several young kids, and as they said, 500 plus vehicles coming down that road. And if anybody's drove down Woodbury Hill Road, it's not great. So the extra traffic is going to cause problems, trash and everything like that. I'm not trying to shoot the whole. I understand where you're going. I understand what Ricky's doing, but you didn't talk to any of the private property owners. I imagine you tried to do it because you didn't want it getting out so that we could get.
This situation is exactly the reason we have tried to keep it somewhat quiet until such point it was relevant to have a conversation.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I understand that. I know how that works, you know, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of stuff that people don't understand that happens. A lot of people trespass from Harrison Park, come and they throw trash. They fish in the river, which is water company property. That's illegal. They trespass across 3 private properties, one being mine, which is illegal, but we can't always catch them. So I'm always out back there picking up trash. I get stuff stolen, private property of mine stolen. And now we're adding 500 more people to that situation. Now I'm not saying that mountain bikers and hikers and all that are bad people, but there are opportunistic people that are going to be out there and they say, "Ooh, well, hey, I know the trail stops here, but let's go a little further this way." Now they're trespassing.
There's just no evidence to suggest that is true. Also,
I have several videos on my phone right now that
what
says
better
people
way
trespass.
to police this land than to put it back into the public's hands and put people responsible for it? We will take care of it.
If you want to
Alderman
be
Pickering,
responsible,
gentlemen, I apologize. Alderman Pickering, has your question been answered?
Yes, it has.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions on this one? Go ahead, Mike.
Was there discussion about, and earlier when they talked a couple weeks ago or whatever it was, there was no discussion about motor assisted bicycles, and the state doesn't allow it. Are we allowing it? And has there been any discussion at all on this?
Engineer?
Within the agreement, there is language that would allow it to include electric bicycles, but nothing beyond that, basically. So, or pedal assisted. So it's correct. It'd be,
But that means that
that's not like gas powered.
I know what they are. I
dirt
got
bikes.
friends that got them.
Yeah.
You got a pedal to start the motor.
It is a motor that helps you pedal, so that if you have some sort of
Yeah.
It's all electric. There's no gas to it.
no gas, no.
That's correct.
And why does the state not allow it?
They're fairly new, and they just have not really addressed the existing rules and such.
Yeah. And just to add to that, something that we were, at least from the city standpoint, internally, we're envisioning this it is a mountain bike destination. That's part of the goal, but it's a multi-use trail that we want people to be able to enjoy as long as it's not destroying the trail system. And we don't believe that an electric assist bicycle will destroy the trail system. We do think that dirt bikes and things of that nature probably would. So we want to promote the ability to use that, for all types. That's one reason that we chose to allow that to be included.
And it says electric specifically, so there's no gas assisted.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, if you understand electric assist bikes, that I can pedal faster than an electric assist bike. It's not like anything like a moped or a
I
motorcycle.
know people that have them.
But exactly, it's not like a
But when they
high-speed
said
vehicle.
when they said assisted, I want to make sure it wasn't a small end moped with gas in there.
Yeah.
And what's to keep someone with an illegal bike from using the trail? you know, the gas powered bikes, the ATVs, because I mean, we've seen those on the streets.
Yeah.
In the parks.
I mean, I think that's going to be city ordinances that are going to govern that. That's city land. You know, other users, certainly it's within this trail agreement. You know, there's that grounds. If we end up with loopholes that we've got to tighten up along the way, I mean, I'm sure like in everything, there's something we're going to find we didn't cover, but you know, we're going to try our best, and it's going to follow ordinances that are already in place. And if not, we'll have to create those ordinances to make sure it's enforced in the way that we need it to be.
We have a way for other users to notify us as well. We have all lines of communication.
So when someone goes on the trail with an ATV, what would happen?
Well, there are ATVs out there now. So first of all, the things that we're going to do.
Mr. Landis, could you please come back to the mic? I apologize.
Yeah, so first of all, there are illegal ATVs out there now, so that would eliminate that situation. But if someone were to contact us with they saw an ATV out there, I'd probably put a trail cam up to see if we could find it again and then report that person, or we would recommend that they report that to the local authorities.
Okay, so it would be reported to police department.
Yeah.
Mike, go ahead.
And under E, use of trails and ancillary features, number 3, this is page 37, it spells out a whole bunch of specific uses and what the proper procedure is to report somebody illegally using the trail, whether it be the Danville Police Department or Vermillion County Sheriff's Department. So that's in this agreement.
Well, I can say the only thing I don't like about it is because they didn't talk to the neighbors ahead of time. You're expecting a vote tonight, and a lot of the neighbors haven't been notified or told about it. So that's my opinion. If it would be up to me, I would ask for this be postponed for a couple of weeks till we can hear from some of them people that are going to have this in their backyards.
Chairman, what I would say is that those people are here, and the bottom, Mr. Atwood, I apologize, but it's not a time for you to speak.
I understand.
Well, it's not, I mean, my question, is it going to change anything? Like if you hear from people and people say, if we get a dozen people that are adjoining neighbors, and I think we're talking about 3 property holders, they say that they don't want this, is it going to change that we don't do this? I mean, if it will change things, then absolutely we should postpone the vote and wait. But if it's not going to change things, it doesn't make sense to me to delay this.
I guess we won't find out. So
I mean, anyone can make a motion to delay it or postpone it. Absolutely.
all right, 12D anymore. Any other questions?
Just for clarification's sake, there was no notification or anything given to the property owners prior to this?
I live outside of the city of Danville, and I don't believe.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that we're aware of in our city ordinances that would require us to go through a notification process beyond putting this item on the agenda. It's not a rezone of property or a change in use. It's previously been dedicated, at least the Harrison Park property, for recreational use by the public, which was its original intention. The only one, the Chateau Estates property, you could possibly, say that, but once again, it's not a rezone, of property or anything of that fashion. So we don't typically deviate from that process for various reasons. And I guess that's really all I've got to add to that one. So,
Anybody else? Not roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Iverson,
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Orr,
No.
Streebing,
No.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Shard,
Yes.
10 yes.
10 yes, motion carries. 12E is a resolution authorizing payment to Ameren, Illinois for utility relocations on Robinson and Lafayette Streets. I will make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Any questions on 12E? Not, roll call, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. That puts us to 12, which is now the new F, resolution authorizing a budget amendment to fiscal year 2022-2023, city treasurer's line item 016 budget. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. Need a second, please.
Second.
Got a second? Any questions on this one?
Yeah, what does that pertain to? I mean,
Comptroller.
This budget amendment was originally submitted to ask for some assistance in the treasurer's office. As you know, it's been behind for a number of months on treasurer's reports and various items. Despite the recent transition in that office, we feel it is probably going to be more important than ever to get some additional assistance to get that caught up. So we'd like to move forward with this budget amendment request.
Did that answer your question, Alderman Williams?
yes. Thank
Any
you.
other questions? If not, roll call, please.
I have.
Oh, sorry.
I have one question just for context of what Comptroller Massey just said. How many people work in the treasurer's office?
Currently none. This would be for temporary help through a temp agency.
Normally, it's one, the treasurer herself.
Yes. I thought you were asking additional. Sorry.
It's the same. The answer would have still been the same.
Well,
So then, who's going to train this person coming in lieu of a treasurer?
I hope to have I hope it's not in lieu of a treasurer. It's in to help support whoever the eventual treasurer is. Because as you know, as the comptroller said, the treasurer's reports were way behind. But in the interim, we won't hire a person probably until we have a treasurer. And I hope to have a treasurer to you until next time. If we should have to hire someone before, there was a temp working there before. If she continues, she's already had training. And if we had to hire a new person to assist, the finance staff would be able to train that person.
Okay, thank you.
and I think that's what we've done over the last few months, because I've requested that there's only so much you can do because it's a voted on position. So our hands are kind of tied, but it doesn't help us when we have to do audits and everything else. So the comptroller's office has put someone in there to help get them caught up more than once in the last 6 months, believe me. So
I'm way behind.
any other questions on this one? Not roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. That puts us to 12G. A resolution authorizing agreement to add 4575 Roth provision to the Security Benefit Deferred Compensation Plan. I will make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on this one?
Just for clarification, it's 457B, parentheses.
I've got 4575.
No, that's what the agenda says. I just wanted to make sure that.
So, yeah, you're right. It needs to be 457B, not 5. Yes.
So is there any more cost involved in this to the city?
There actually potentially could be, yes. So currently we only offer traditional deferred compensation plans. This would add a Roth option to our portfolio, specifically with Security Benefit, one of our providers. This would give us the option for employees to make contributions to a Roth account on an after-tax basis. Currently, they can only do that pre-tax. If everyone who contributed to a traditional plan this year contributed this year the same as last year, and they all converted to Roth, the additional cost would be $12,584 and a penny more than last year. I would like to point out, we do already budget for this tax expense for the city because we lose our tax benefit. That's the additional cost, is the city loses its tax benefit. We do already budget to pay these taxes because no one is obligated to contribute to any kind of compensation plan anyway. So we are prepared for that. We would lose a tax benefit. However, I would say I've had multiple employees bring this up that they would like a Roth option, which is why I brought it to my committee and I'm now bringing it to you.
And that was my other question about how many have we had that has asked about this, employees?
I'd say around 5.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions? Yes, Mike?
Is this something that's going to be audited too? I assume?
I mean, any financial activity by the city is subject to potential testing during our audit.
Will that raise the audit substantially or any at all?
The audit doesn't necessarily cover the applicability of the benefits we offer, just whether the recording of those transactions are accurate to our financial statements.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have another question, Mike?
No.
No. Anybody else? If not, roll call, please.
Chairman Poor,
Yes.
Chairman Streebing,
Yes.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. That puts some items of information. Does anybody have anything? I don't, so, nope, go ahead there.
I just would like, if all the aldermen receive this from the fire department, it was a PowerPoint. It does help explain some of the questions we had tonight. So if they would all look at their email and maybe look at this, it might explain some of the questions that we had. Thank you.
Well, thanks to Agnell, I got mine back yesterday, so it was gone. Everybody kept saying, hey, I'm sending you this and I'm sending you that, and you got to be here at a certain time. Yeah, I didn't get any of it. Agnell took care of it in about 10 minutes, so thank you, Agnell. That's all I've got.
Alderman Pickering, is this one that was sent a while back or just recently?
No, just
just-
about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was from the, yeah.
I'll have to look and see if
All right.
still got it.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate that. Are there any items of information for the good of the cause? Seeing none, we do have a need for closed session. I entertain a motion to go into closed session under Section 2C1, specific personnel, 2C3 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss a vacancy of public office, under Section 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss pending litigation. Is there a motion to do so?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Burt,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Wilson, Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Brown,
Only got one item.
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, the motion carries. We are adjourned to closed session. Please take the paperwork that was passed out with you.
Very